Okay. So, taking a seat that's comfortable, I'm going to start today cross-legged. We're going to do some arm movement together with the breath. One of the great things, again, has been that I also get to now practice with my favorite teachers. Some of my favorite teachers are in Australia. And I worked for them when I lived there, Michael Daly and Vanessa Rudge. And I haven't been back for about 7 years. And when I did Michael's class, I almost cried, like the familiarity of being able to practice again with teachers who truly resonate. And it was just funny, like some of the moves, I just realized how similar our approach is. Like some of his moves, even though I haven't practiced with him for 8 years, we've developed in the same way. We're kind of using still kind of same moves and things. So I kind of stole a little bit of the beginning of the class from him because I liked it. It felt like mine. So let us just pause for a moment. We'll settle into our seat. Maybe the eyes close, maybe they stay open. Just do what really helps you to feel that you're starting to really fully land. And you're landing in your body, you're landing in your breath, you're landing in this very moment right now. And just notice if there wants to be a sigh out through the mouth or some small adjustments in the posture. So don't feel that the stillness needs to be something that is rigid or forced. And then let's give ourselves just a few moments here to just tune in your own sweet way. What is in the foreground for you this morning? And as you kind of slow into your own rhythm, really notice the rhythm of your breathing. So when we bring a little arm movement into this, then it works this way that the movement follows the breath. So it's the breath that dictates the rhythm and not the other way around. So letting the eyes gently open. And we're going to draw a big inhale in where the arms are going to just move up from the sides and meet at the top. And then your exhale, the palms come together and through the center, they travel down towards the heart. When we take a next breath in, we're going to find expansion out to the sides through the arms. So really stretch out through the fingers. And then when you are exhaling, then let the palms slow your breath. They travel back, almost kind of feeling there's a bit of resistance between the palms. On the inhale, the hands go now up towards the sky through the center. Ground your sit bones down. And then as you exhale, make a circle out to the sides, and eventually the hands are going to land on your knees. When your next breath comes in, reach forward through the chest, so you're coming into a bit of an arch of the back. I need to take my block away from underneath, because on the exhale, we're going to round the spine backwards, curling the chin to your chest. On the inhale, do that once more. Come forward, let your chest reach forward. And then on the exhale, let yourself round back, roll back on the sit bones. And do this one more time. Really find your own sweet rhythm with this. So on the inhale, forward. And then as you exhale, rounding back. And then on the next breath in, as you find your center, take your right hand, walk it out from the right hip. And then on the inhale, draw the left arm up. And as you exhale, begin to lean over towards the right. Do that once more when you come kind of halfway out on the inhale. And then exhale, you're going to lean to the side and then pause here for a moment. Let the top shoulder settle. Just kind of notice, maybe turn your gaze down for a moment. Notice how that feels in the neck. Take a deep breath into the side body. And then on your next inhale, keep your top elbow a little bit bent and roll your chest open towards the ceiling, however much is available to you. And then as you exhale, curl that elbow down towards your knee, but it's not going all the way to the knee, so just the upper back rounds. On the inhale, you roll open. And then on the exhale, elbow curls down towards the knee. So it's the upper back rounding. And you're going to go one more time like this. Inhale, you open. And then as you exhale, you curl. Now draw that left hand up towards the ceiling for a moment. Come a little bit out of this side bend. And what I'm going to ask you to do now is take your left leg, and it's called internal rotate. So you're going to rotate the knee down onto the mat so the foot comes to the outside of your hip. Last week we did a movement from here where we're reaching with that left hand and finding a side bend. So this could be one option that you do here. Another option is to bring that left hand onto that left foot, draw the heel towards your bum, and then lift the left thigh a little bit off the mat, and then kind of start to rotate your chest away from the thigh, and it's a psoas stretch, so in front of that left hip, a stretchy sensation. If this feels in any way awkward, not comfortable for the knee, then keep that thigh grounded, and then your left hand up and forward. So do the one that works for you. Take another breath in here in this side stretch. Empty it out. And then placing the knee down, the thigh down, coming up to your seat, and then take a twist over that right knee. Left knee. So left hand comes behind you, right hand circles over that left thigh. So your left sit bone, if it's a little bit off the mat, then that's fine. Take another breath in here, another breath out. And then face back towards the center. And now we'll come to a yin hold. So you have your right leg in front of you, the heel. You can place the heel slightly forward or closer, play with that a little bit. You could also change the angle where that left knee is pointing. But we're aiming to get a stretch for the right buttock. So we did this one last week as well. So I like to start more over towards that right knee. And then I don't feel much of a stretch in the buttocks here, but if you do, then you've found your posture, you've found your shape. If you're not feeling much, just play with where your torso is oriented. So you could move a little bit more towards the center, more towards that right foot. If you have blocks, you could place a block under your forehead. Remember, option is to play a little bit where that left knee is pointing. Is it coming more forward or to the side out of the hip? And then we'll hold the yin hold for about 3 minutes. So let yourself really explore this, but then eventually see if you can find some stillness, if you can settle. So we're aiming, the posture is targeting your right buttock and the outer thigh. Often you might also feel it along the lower back as it gently stretches these tense ligamental structures in the lower back. And where we're not meant to feel it is in that right knee. So try to adjust the posture in a way that that right knee, no strain. Begin to sense the heaviness of the bones of the body, the kind of the earthiness of you, the matter of you. And with every exhale, there's a little bit more willingness of those bony structures to drop into the ground. And then as the bones get heavy, it's kind of almost like sending the message to the muscles to relax, to soften, to release. You are in a yin posture when you're not using any force. You are in a yin mindset when you are not showing any type of aggression. So find that yin in your breath as it settles into a natural rhythm. Let yourself invite in yin into the structures of the body as they are experiencing this sense of kind of surrender, release, and yielding. And then I find most importantly, it's the attitude of accepting and allowing this container of kind of inner nourishing and nurturing, even when things might get a little bit challenging. Let's give it one more breath in. And then we slowly walk up and lean back in such a way that you can get that left leg to come forward. And let's give our legs just a little moment of rebound. So you could either just flop the legs forward and just passive, letting them relax and noticing the sensations around the hips, or you could bring a little bit of movement in. You could make bigger movement when the feet are on the mat and you do what's called Windshield Wipers. And before we do the other side, one thing that I always really enjoy in the mornings is this forward fold dangling. So we're going to take a squat, and you could stay in the squat if the dangling is not working for your spine, if there's any issues with the spine. So making your squat manageable. So if you have a lot of tightness in the ankles, feel free to roll your blanket up and just wedge your heels on top of it. We don't stay for long. We'll just kind of pause here so that you know that this is an alternative if a forward fold does not work for your spine. So you could always come back to this. And we'll just take a minute or so. So again, keep that mindset of not pushing it at all. So when you come to a forward fold, when the hips rise, you toe heel your feet a little bit closer, and then really generous bend in the knees so that you can get your torso quite close to the thighs, letting the head drop. And then obviously, if you have openness in the backs of the legs, feel free to experiment, maybe straightening the knees a little bit or straightening them completely. Stay at an edge where you can feel that you're not pushing, you're not in a striving mode. And it's really more, I'm intending it for the spine. So the gravity pulling the vertebrae away from each other, the head is really heavy, pulled down by gravity. See what your breath wants to do here. And if there's a little bit of movement that wants to come in a form of like swaying from side to side or shaking your head out a bit, whatever feels kind of like a natural release, helpful. Another 3 breaths here. And then we slowly find back the way towards squat first. So if you stand in the forward fold, bringing the hips back, kind of between the heels just for a moment here, like maybe 30 seconds here. And similarly here, there could be some movement here. Breath down into the navel. And then we take the hands behind, we come back into a cross-legged seat. And we'll do the arm movement, the side stretch, and the psoas stretch for the opposite side. So as you've settled into your seat, we're going to take an inhale when the arms go up from the sides. And then the exhale joins the palms. Really nice, slow, steady breath connecting to your center as the arms rest in front of the heart. And then on the inhale, we draw the arms wide and open, stretching out through the fingers, feeling the front of the chest. Really slow that breath down as the arms slowly gravitate back towards each other and in front of the heart. On the inhale, they move up towards the sky through the center line on the inhale. And then as you exhale, a big circle around you, and the hands are going to land on your knees. When your next breath comes in, your heart lifts forward, you roll forward on the sit bones, maybe the chin lifts a little bit, and then as you exhale, chin curls in, the spine rounds, you roll back. And then a few times like this. So inhale, rolling forward, nice fluid, wavy movement for the spine. Really let your breath slow you into a rhythm that works for you today. Another round. Inhaling and exhaling. Next time you come through the center, it's the left hand that moves out from the left hip onto your mat. Right hand, palm up, taking a breath in, and as you exhale, leaning into a side stretch over towards the left. And do that twice more, so come halfway out, let your breath reach out through the fingers, and then exhale, kind of finding that stretch, finding the depth that works. Take another breath in. And then on the next exhale, let yourself stay for a moment. Let yourself really feel to the waistline, to the rib cage. Again, just try it. Turn the head down instead of trying to look up. Chin curls towards the shoulder. And then begin to rotate. So I like to keep the top elbow bent. It gives me a little bit more mobility. On the inhale, there's a curling up towards the sky. And then on the exhale, as you round forward, the rounding forward is kind of for your upper back, for a little bit of like a back of the heart opening. And then you smoothly move with your own rhythm twice more. Inhaling, curling open, exhale, a little bit more towards the ground. And then one more time. And the next time when you move through the center, let yourself pause. And then we come a little bit up and out. We're going to release the right hand and we change how our left leg is. Instead of the knee pointing out, we're going to point the knee kind of forward and then a little bit out, and the heel is going to come to the outside of that hip. And remember, your option is to keep now reaching with the arm or holding onto that right ankle, right foot, and then lifting the thigh off the mat a little bit, leaning it back behind you, and then beginning to turn your chest away from that thigh. So psoas, front of the thigh, your hip flexors. A breath in, a breath out. And then letting that thigh settle back onto the mat. As you come back to your seat, just begin to rotate towards that right thigh. So left hand over the left knee, twisting from here. Just one or two breaths. And then as you face back towards the center, we're going to find our buttock stretch here again. So variables, remember, where you place that left heel. When you bring it further forward, generally it means more sensation in the left buttock. And just depending what feels more comfortable for that right hip, you could send that knee a little bit further out or forward. And then the torso, where will the torso kind of land eventually? Depends on what you feel in that left buttock. Take your time, settle in. Feel free to play around with props so that you make things more comfortable. And your props at home probably look like sofa cushions or pillows, some blankets. And then see if for the next few minutes there can be a certain stillness, in a sense that we are going to limit the superficial level of fidgeting. So when those first impulses arise, see if you can notice impulses to move or shift or change. Can we simply be aware of that? But we need to balance that. So if there's definite signals coming from the body that something is hurting or painful, then you respond. Then you tend to that mindfully, consciously. So our movements become more, as I said, more responses rather than simply unconscious reactions. Notice if you can just build a small container for these few minutes to be more aware of these processes that push you and pull you in different directions. And in those moments of pause lies our freedom to choose how to act. About 1 more minute. There's a softening of the outer structures, but also feel the inner body softening. Almost like the organs are going to take a long exhale. Your whole system benefiting from slowing down, from your nervous system switching into that parasympathetic mode of healing and rest as the breath slows. And more of us is present right here in this moment, letting the storylines and narratives move more to the background and the felt sense be where we live, what we inhabit. Gonna slowly walk ourselves up once more, taking your time as you bring the legs forward and just giving them a moment here to just relax and to feel the effect of the posture, the echo, the resonance of the pose. You might feel that still in your tissues for a bit when you come out. And then whenever you're ready, we'll do the same transition. We'll do the same transition as we come towards a squat first. And your option would be to stay a little bit longer here. Or coming straight away towards the dangling. So let yourself find your own practice here. So if this is working, this works better for your body than the forward fold, stay a little bit longer in the squat. If you're like me and you really enjoy a good morning wake-up call for the whole back line of the body, I have the bones for that. So then come into a forward fold. Play with the bend in your knees. Try to find that balance where there's some sensation there, but it's not too intense. So again, those yin qualities are present. We're not forcing, there's no aggression. Eventually, where we'll transition is a downward facing dog. So we're going to walk the hands forward and feet back. So if you're in the squat, you just need to extend your hips up for just a moment. And when you land in the down dog, just kind of tune in. If this feels like way too dynamic right now, then drop the knees onto the ground and come to some cat and cow poses. If stretching your body out in this way feels good, then see if you want to hold it still, or if you want to bring some movement, some wiggling, some pedaling of heels in from downward facing dog. So again, everyone can really attend to where you are at right now. So I think I want some movement on all fours, but feel free to stay in down dog. Notice if your breath gets really labored, maybe take it a bit more easy so we can, even when we bring the movements in, those yin qualities can be what kind of feeds our yang movement. So our yang rises out of these nourishing qualities of yin. So we're still either in down dog, in some movement on all fours, giving it just a few more breaths. And then either from downward facing dog or from all fours, we're going to come to Yin Dragons. So we're going to bring the right foot forward. So we're coming back to those hip flexors, the muscles at the top of your thigh, connecting your upper body to your lower body, affecting your lower back. And so right foot forward. We'll stay for about 2 minutes. And again, those who've practiced yin for a while, if you have a dragon or a combination of dragons that you enjoy, then feel free to do different variations. So what I'm going to start with is I'm going to bring the hands to the inside and walk the right foot a little bit out towards the right, so making more space for the hips. And that left knee is going to walk as far back as is comfortable, and the hips are going to drop towards the ground. And I'll just pause here for another 30 seconds or so. Now, if you have the openness that you can bring your elbows down onto the ground or onto your blocks, if that feels somewhere where the body kind of naturally moves to, then do that. Otherwise, totally okay to keep the fingers down, knuckles down, arms straight. Now feel the pull of the gravity here. Generally, again, these ones we don't hold for that long. They can be quite intense. For my second minute here, I like to drop that right knee. So I point the right toes out, then I drop the right knee out to the side. So we call it winged dragon. Just really notice, does that work for your hips? So if this creates any discomfort in the knees, just stay with the previous variation. I'm even rolling my right foot to the little toe side, peeling the sole of the foot off the ground. Releasing, releasing, releasing. Just another 2-3 breaths. And then as we start to move out, I'm going to leave the rebound up to you. So as you curl back, as you walk the hands back, as the right leg goes back, it might be that you want to lie in stillness, taking a child's pose. Maybe you want to be on the belly and take that rebound there, or you could be on all fours with some movement, or again, downward facing dog. For some people, feels like a very nice option after the lunges, after the dragons. So see if you can sense like where your energy level is. Is it possible that your body can guide you towards something rather than the mind? If you feel lost, try something and learn to sense, well, how does this feel? We'll give it another few breaths. And then take your time. Let's explore the dragons on the other side so that the left foot can come forward, either from downward facing dog or from all fours. And same here. If you have variations that you know that your body enjoys, use this time for that. I'm going to bring the left foot a little bit to the left side of the mat. The right knee walks backwards. And then staying either elbows straight or elbows supported on blocks or elbows on the ground. The target area is in front of that right hip, the top of the hip most likely. And remember, the sensations that we're looking for should be kind of mild, moderate, so nothing too intense. The shoulders soften, making sure the face, the jaw, the eyes stay relaxed. Inviting softness into the muscles and the interior of the body. The second minute option was the winged dragon, where the left toes point slightly out and the knee drops out to the side. If that works for you, come towards it, modify it, change it. Let there again be a moment of settling, connecting to where you feel it. And then gradually, slowly, we're gonna walk out. So the hands walk back. Left leg goes back, and same thing like last time. It could be an active rebound with some movement or down dog. Could be a passive rebound where you seek for rest in any posture that feels restful for your body. Feel free to move around. Again, intuitive. Sensing what's needed. Let yourself be guided. Not by something or someone externally, but internally. And then we'll meet on all fours. And we'll take our little sequence where we first stimulate the upper body a little bit, so the meridians lining in the upper body in the heart melting pose and a hot asana. And then after a minute there, we'll transition to Sphinx Pose. So I'm keeping my bum on top of the knees, the hands walk forward, the forehead comes onto the ground. You can play with how wide your arms are, but I'm inviting you to stay restfully in it so that the forearms are going to relax onto the ground. So you can feel that the structures around your shoulders, the muscular structures, can begin to relax and soften. You could place something under the forehead if the forehead doesn't easily come onto the ground. Some people can have chin on the ground if you have that type of a mobility in the neck, but don't force that. So about a minute, heart melting pose. So really feel your heart melting towards the ground. Maybe gentle pulling sensation around the shoulders. Your heart and lung meridian lines running through the upper body. Take a breath into the side ribs. Then we mindfully make a transition onto the belly, so maybe walking the hands a little bit closer to each other, and then the forearms come down as you shuffle your whole torso down onto the ground, and then you walk your forearms forward so that you can have your elbows under the shoulders or slightly forward from the shoulders. As you extend the legs back, play with how wide you want to have them. You could have the palms together or hands parallel. And we take this one passively. So we'll later on come to some active back bends. Passively, what I mean is you're going to just relax your kind of spine, your torso down towards the ground. So if you do feel it too much in the lower back, there's a lot of discomfort here, then simply walk your hands more forward. And so you don't have that much big of an extension or a curve in the lower back. And if you're not feeling much there, then you could experiment bending the knees. So that changes what we feel in the lower back. The postures in Yin, we want to kind of take them progressively. So over time, there is also that option to bring the palms down and straighten the elbows. So I'm going to leave it up to you if you even want to come, if it's even needed to come into that variation. Head could be neutral, head could drop. So mild sensation in the lower back. Most of you know these poses. So this one is not about stretching, this is about creating some gentle pressure, compression in the lower back, and it's stimulating our kidney energy. And I usually want to throw a kidney posture into a sequence, as kidneys are really responsible for the quality of life force that is moving through us. So kind of our vitality, they connect it to our vitality. And again, inviting in relaxation and lingering in this pause. So keep sensing the inner environment so that you notice when change is needed. You could always release earlier, or you could lean in and find the variation that works for you. So we have about minute and a half left, so if something needs to change, More sensation, less sensation. Perfect. And then let's slowly release. Let's take a moment where we lie on the belly. So we take a rebound here on the belly, a pause, a moment to feel. Again, the resonance of the posture, sensing your lower back. Maybe for a moment, not so quick to fix anything that you notice there. Just give it some time. And then as always, I give here this choice. If a rebound on the belly, staying a little bit longer here, simply releasing to the ground works best, then stay here for a little bit longer. Or coming to all fours, and either once more there's some movement through cat and cow, or just organic movement through the spine, or taking a child's pose. So the area in the lower back that was just compressed in child's pose, especially if you can do a child's pose with the thighs closer together, that lower back area is going to open. So that can serve as a counter pose for the back bend. And then if you're still on the belly, let yourself find your way to child's pose for just 2-3 breaths. And then let us walk to all fours. We're going to tuck the toes under. And then as you walk the hands back once more, we're going to push ourselves up to that dangling position. So the soles of the feet on the mat, just for a moment. And let yourself feel both soles of the feet on the mat. Let your knees bend generously. And then we're going to roll all the way up, but really bend the knees a lot for that. And see if you can find the power of your legs. So it's the legs pushing towards the ground or into the ground is what's rolling you up. So not so much the muscles of your back. And as you rise up to standing, just let there be a little bit of movement, like the shoulders circling. Maybe the hips move a little bit, soft knees. And we're going to keep the feet hip distance apart. We're going to bring that arm movement in here with a little bit of variation. So we're going to draw again the arms out and up from the sides as we did when we were seating. Push the feet down as the palms touch at the top, maybe even look up. And as you exhale, let the hands travel back towards the heart. Now on the inhale, draw the hands out to the sides, really draw them wide and open, and then slow that breath down as the hands come back towards the heart. Now here, interlock the fingers in front of the heart, then lift your elbows up as you inhale. As you exhale, begin to press the hands forward, curl the upper back, draw the tailbone down. My knees are quite bent, so the whole back line of the body is now open. Curl the chin towards the chest. Now, as you begin to inhale, unlock the fingers, move them towards your back, interlock them behind the back if that works for you. I still keep my knees slightly bent as you draw the hands, fingertips for the knuckles towards the ground and hands a little bit away from the back, and the heart opens now forward, so you're in a back bend. Do that once more. Open the hands, bring them to the front, round the back, curl the tail under, chin to chest, empty that breath out, hollow belly. And then draw the hands behind you, lifting the chest, and then coming into a back bend. Feel free to bend the knees quite generously so you have available more movement into the pelvis. Now once more, as the hands open, they're going to come to the front. You're going to draw them forward, but then they're going to start to lift up towards the ceiling. So your fingers stay interlocked, palms are going to face away, straighten into your knees, push the feet down so you come tall and long, and then come towards your tippy toes, challenge your balance a little bit. So palms of the hands up towards the ceiling, really tighten in the sense that you hug your muscle to the bone, the leg muscle to the bone, so you're tall, tall, tall. And then as you exhale, when the heels drop, begin to dive forward, soft knees, all the way down onto the ground, head drops. Ha. Take a breath in here, take a breath out here. And then place your right hand under your face, keep both knees bent. And if you are a little bit tighter on the hamstrings, place your right elbow onto your right thigh. So maybe let's all start from there and then you can change. So right elbow comes onto the right thigh. Now my left knee comes straight, right knee is bent, and I draw the left hand up towards the ceiling for a twist. And then those who can place the right hand down onto the ground under your face. So you feel the outer left hip moving towards the back of your mat. Take another breath in. Again, if your head is looking up for a moment, stay in the posture, but draw your gaze down. Keep the arm moving up and the left hip moving towards the back. One more breath. And then as the left hand lowers, left knee bends. You place both hands onto your shin bones, you straighten the knees, you lift your chest forward. And as you exhale into a forward fold, either straight knees or knees bent, chin to chest. Let's do the opposite side. So it's the left hand now. You can place your left elbow onto your left knee and the right knee straight. Or the left hand can be under your face on the ground, while the right hand starts to lift up towards the ceiling. Outer right hip moves towards the back of the mat. So you feel that waistline also opening on the right side. And if you've had your head turned up, for a moment just experiment. Turn your gaze down towards the mat. Try to feel the length of the spine. Take another breath in. And as you exhale, bend into the right knee. Circle the right hand down. Place both hands onto your shin bones. Press onto your shin bones, knee straight, spine long. Inhale. And then exhale, bow forward. Now see if you're not at the top of the mat, have your left leg then step forward. So the left leg is forward, the right leg steps back, back knee comes down onto the mat. Coming into a kneeling lunge. So on the inhale, rise. And as you exhale, let your hips find the place. Let them settle towards the ground, but not completely dumping toward the ground. So feel that now there's a little bit force to rebound through that front foot as it presses down. Left hand comes onto the left thigh. Right hand reaches up, and then you lean over towards the left, so the right side of the body lengthens. And then maybe what I found I like if I curl slightly forward, I get a really nice flavor coming again slightly towards the hip flexor there into the waistline. If it's not working for you, stay more higher up. Give it another breath in. And then keep curling that right hand down. Place the right hand under your shoulder, maybe left foot a little bit out of the way. Circle the left hand back and up. And then either stay with the back knee grounded, or tuck the back toes under and lift the back knee off the ground for a twist. You could move that top arm. It could reach towards the back, up, or even forward. Take another breath in. As you exhale, bring the left hand down and then straighten the left leg however much it's willing to straighten. So you can Feel the hamstring at the back of that leg being stretched. So it doesn't have to be all the way straight. Give it one more breath here. Then come to bend that knee again, and let's come to high lunge. So just the back knee staying up. So as you rise, you're going to settle your hips between your feet. The palms are going to go, the hands are going to go up once more. And then option here as well to kind of focus more on that sideline for a moment, for a breath. Either staying more upright or again just adding a little bit of leaning forward diagonally away. So you really feel there's a huge line from that back heel coming to the hip, to the shoulder, to the tips of the fingers. Give it one more breath. And as you exhale, take the right hand down, take the left hand to the inside, and then walk halfway over towards that back leg. So I'm going to circle around so that you're not watching my bum. And we're going to take a little bit of a gliding of hips from side to side, so both toes are facing forward. I'm going to bend into the back knee, and then the right knee. So you're just going to let yourself move from side to side. And if you've been to class, then you know this. So you could keep your hands grounded and kind of them holding part of the body weight, or you could lift your hands off the ground and get a little bit more fluid with this, moving from side to side. Perfect. One more. And then take a little moment of pause at the center. So you could stay with the hands under your shoulders, or you could move the fingertips more in line with the toes, crown of the head down towards the mat. So coming into a wide knee forward fold. Feel your legs, your feet really connected to the ground, the four corners of each foot. And if you need to, the knees can be bent. Feel again that release down through the crown of the head. See that you're not holding your head so the back of the neck feels long. You're not trying to look forward or up. Let there be this moment of settling. And then as you walk your hands under your shoulders, a little moment of trust, I'm going to ask you to walk towards your back foot. So we're going to do the same sequence, and you might be walking away from the camera, depending how you are, or from your screen, depending on how you position. So you have, I believe, your right foot forward and left leg back, and the back knee comes down onto the ground. So we're coming to kneeling lunge. So trust a little bit. If you can hear me, maybe you remember it also. So we're coming to kneeling lunge with the back knee on the ground. Finding your position, letting the hips lean towards the ground, and then a little bit of resistance with that right foot on the ground. And then you have the right hand coming to the right thigh, left hand is reaching up, and you lean over to the right so you get a side bend through the left side of the body. Take a breath in here. And if this is working well for you, stay here, or leaning slightly forward, this diagonal reach through the left fingertips. One more breath. And then you keep circling that left hand down under the shoulder, right foot a little bit out of the way, into the twist as the right hand circles back and up. The back knee can stay grounded, or the back toes can tuck and the knee lifts. You take another breath or two. And as the right hand lowers, pressing the right foot onto the ground and beginning to straighten it as best as you can. Maybe walking the hands a little bit back. If you have a lot of openness in the back of that leg, it's the opposite. The hand's actually going to walk forward. Press that front foot firmly on the ground. My back heel is still lifted. One more breath. As you bend into the knee, and maybe you need to adjust the stance a little bit, we come to high lunge, which means the back knee stays lifted as you press onto the ground and rise. And then letting the hips settle between the feet, finding stability. Option again for that right hand to rest onto your thigh, left hand to lift, and then lean over towards the towards the right. So the left side of the body, breathing maybe a little diagonal as you lean forward. And then slowly continuing trajectory down towards the ground, so the right hand comes to the inside, the left hand comes down, right hand comes down, and then you walk yourself back halfway, hands are under the shoulders, and then once more just a little bit of hips from side to side. Now, some of you might know the full variation of Skandasana. It needs kind of good knees and hips that enjoy that. So that means that as I sit over to the right, towards the right heel, my left foot lifts off the ground. And then I go over to the opposite side. So if that works for you, go for it. Otherwise, stay with the previous position. The arm movements, you can just really make up your own movements here. And then we pause at the center, hands under the shoulders, taking a breath in. As you exhale, bow forward, ground of the head towards the mat. Let's take again a moment here of grounding through the soles of the feet. Imagine even your crown of the head is nowhere near the ground. You could still imagine crown of the head settling onto the ground. The direction is there. And then palms of the hands grounding on earth. Then hands come under the shoulders. You're going to walk over towards your front leg, which I think is your left leg, and you step back to downward facing dog. Pressing the hands down, pressing the hips away from the hands. One big whole body stretch, big inhale, nice slow exhale. Let's come forward to plank. We're going to pause there, so we're going to find our center. We're going to find our strength. Pressing down through the hands. If it's too much, soften your knees down onto the ground. Give it another moment here. Pressing away. And then lower your knees, or maybe you have the strength, keep them up. Then lower all the way down onto the ground. Reach your arms back. Lift your chest. Maybe lift the legs as well. So now we're strengthening the back body. See if you can still find ease. You can still tap into the yin here. The part of you that's not struggling and not pushing. Give it another breath. Exhale as you release, as the tops of the feet press onto the ground. Find your favorite back bend to hold for 3 breaths. So it could be cobra, could be up dog, could be a more dynamic Sphinx pose. Feel free to explore and move a little bit from side to side. Let the breath expand towards the chest, towards the heart. And then exhale, lower. Take a breath in here, make a little pillow out of the hands, let everything drop. And then turn onto your back from here. So you're just gonna flip over like a pancake. Just gonna lie onto your back. And then to finish, start to walk the feet over towards the right. So I've been focusing on the side body. We'll take a yin half moon pose. As the feet walk over to the right, let the upper body shuffle to the right as well. And then option to bring the arms up, maybe holding the left wrist, maybe taking the hands wide and open. If it's in any way uncomfortable for the shoulders, for the arms to be up, then feel free to keep the hands down and resting somewhere on the body. And then you had an option to cross the ankles, maybe right over left, maybe left over right, or just keeping them parallel. So all of those are preferences. So just for about a minute, we're changing pace again. Letting yourself now come to this relationship with gravity where you're not fighting gravity. Let yourself lean, yield. Now beginning to release the arms, walk the legs back to the center. Take just a moment here, feeling the center line of the body, the right side, the left side of the body. And then take the opposite side, walk the feet, the legs over to the left. Maybe shuffle the upper body towards the left as well. And then choose a position for the arms that works for your shoulders. See if you can prioritize ease over wanting more sensation. The body begins to open when it trusts, and with force, it actually begins to resist and contract. So let the creature of the body really gentle. Give it some slow, calming breaths. Give the body your presence. Give it your curiosity. And then as you come back to the center, arms back, legs back, just pausing again to feel right side, left side, both sides together. And then for a little last stretch, you could simply hug the knees in and hold one hand on one knee, other hand on the other knee as you put the knees up towards the armpits. Or you could have the soles of the feet up towards the ceiling, grabbing your heels, taking a happy baby. Or you could hold your ankles with the feet close to the buttocks and could be a version of happy baby. as you're letting the heels go, you could just for a moment keep the hands and legs up. So sometimes it's named a dead bug pose. Letting the shoulder blades drop onto the ground and really passive. You could shake the hands and legs as a little finishing touch. And then as you drop your legs, as you drop your hands, we're finding relaxation. I just want you to be aware, so I'm not good at teaching 1 hour classes, so that 1 hour is up. So if you need to go, if you don't have time for a 5-minute relaxation, feel free to do that. If you can give it another 5 minutes, then make that 5 minutes comfortable. If your body needs something else, a twist, any movement that I haven't offered that fits the end of the practice, please give it. Give your body that. And then when you're ready, making sure you're warm, you have something maybe covering you or under your head so it feels really comfy. If you have time for a longer relaxation, again, just mute me or leave the meeting and take your time with this. As you settle here, letting your bones of the body, letting the bones of the body settle towards the ground as you feel the parts of the body touching the ground. Feel like with every inhale, there's this welcoming from the ground beneath you opening, and as you exhale, there's the willingness of the body to release and drop into the support. Feel that even this doesn't need to be rushed. This doesn't need to be done well. There's no effort here. See again if you can linger more in your direct experience. The sensations of the body, the feel of the breath, the touch of your clothes, the feel of gravity itself. The sounds coming from your environment. The sound of your own breath. Nothing needs to be excluded. Nothing needs to be pushed off. And also there's nothing to grab after. It's just this moment. Right here. Right now. Exactly like this. And once more, if you can stay longer, see if you can mute me and just stay resting. And if you are ready to transition, small movements, deeper breath, taking your time as you begin to curl the knees to your chest, possibly. Maybe you want to stretch a little bit, roll on your back. My invitation is that eventually you'll roll over to one side into a fetal position. So there's a nice nourishing way to transition to this halfway point there, and then as you press your top hand in front of your chest, when you're ready to come up, there's this curling, kind of like an unfurling action when you roll up, and you let the head be the very last that lifts on top of the rest of your being. And we just have a moment, so we will close here as we find the seat. Our steady structures, finding our resilience that I often find when I connect to my backbone, and then matching that resilience with the softness of the front body, again, however much is available right now. And then we can place the hands in front of the heart and offer one Om for our practice and for this time together. So if you are singing, empty your breath out, draw a breath in and then sing. Maybe having a little bow forward as the head turns towards the fingertips, as your mind is bowing in front of the wisdom of your body, your heart. Namaste. Thank you so much.